are not empty. When feelings stopped being save, opener, this is not a 5-step plan to fix your life. This is not a classic guide. You might recognize yourself in what follows. It might come close. That is allowed. Noah wants to help you understand yourself and the people around you a little better. Nothing more than that. Nothing less either. There is a particular kind of silence that has nothing to do with peace. Not the silence of a quiet room. The silence of something inside you that used to make noise and does not anymore. The laugh that does not quite reach you the way it used to. The grief that should be there and is not. The love you know is real but cannot quite feel in your chest the way you remember feeling it once. You did not go cold. You just ran out of room to feel. Part 1. The quiet inside. There is a kind of quiet that is not peace. You move through the day. You speak when spoken to. You smile in the moments where smiling is expected. From the outside, nothing looks wrong. But somewhere underneath all of it, something has gone very still. And it has been still for longer than you have wanted to admit. You do what needs doing. You show up. You function. You carry the day the way you always have. But the things that used to move you do not move you the way they used to. A song that once meant something plays, and you notice it more than you feel it. A person you love says something kind, and you register it the way you register weather. Not because you stopped caring, because something in you turned the volume down a long time ago, and it never quite turned back up. There is a question that lives quietly under all of this, one most people never say out loud because saying it feels like admitting something is wrong. What if I cannot feel the way I used to? What if the part of me that used to feel everything loudly and easily is simply not there anymore? That question is heavier than it sounds. And if it is familiar to you, you are not the only one who carries it. If this quiet is familiar to you, stay with this. Part 2. How it got quiet. There was a time you felt everything. Joy arrived without effort, and so did sadness, and so did anger, and none of it needed managing because you simply lived inside whatever it was. That version of you was not stronger or weaker than the one you are now. It was simply someone who had not yet been asked to carry too much for too long. Then there was more than you could hold. Maybe it was a job that asked for more than a job should, year after year, with no room to say it was too much. Maybe it was a relationship that took more than it gave back, quietly, in ways that were hard to name out loud. Maybe it was an illness, yours or someone else's, household together, holding yourself together day after day after day, with no one asking whether you still had it in you. None of it announced itself as too much. It just kept arriving in the ordinary shape of a life until there was no room left in the schedule for falling apart, and no one positioned to catch you if you did. So you kept going, and somewhere in all that keeping going, your system made a decision you never consciously made. It turned the volume down, not because you chose it, not as something you decided one day and then carried out. It crept in slowly, the way fog moves in without a single moment you could point to and say, "There." That is when it started. Not just on the grief, not just on the parts that hurt, all of it together, because a nervous system under enough pressure for long enough cannot always tell the difference between too much pain and too much joy. It only knows one thing: this is too much, all of it. And the safest response is to feel less of everything until the load becomes manageable again. Do you remember when it got quieter? Or did it happen so slowly you never noticed the moment? Part 3. What numbness protects. What feels like emptiness is sometimes a dam, not because there is nothing behind it, because there is too much. The numbness is not the absence of feeling. It is the structure holding back everything that has not yet found a safe enough place to be released. And like any dam, it is not a flaw in the landscape. It was built carefully and necessarily to hold something back that would have caused damage if it had been allowed to move freely. Behind that dam is everything you never had time to feel properly. The grief over a job that drained you for years, postponed because there was always something more urgent than your own exhaustion. The anger at a relationship that asked more than it gave, never shown because showing it felt like it would break something you were not ready to break. The fear underneath an illness you managed quietly, day by day, without ever stopping to feel how frightening it actually was. The love for a family you held together, that you rarely let anyone hold for you in return. None of it disappeared. It simply moved behind the wall, where it has been waiting patiently for conditions safe enough to surface. Numb does not mean broken. It means that somewhere along the way, without you choosing it, survival quietly became more important than feeling. Not a decision, not a moment you can point to, something that simply took over. The way a body quietly redirects its warmth to the core during a winter storm without asking permission first. It leaves the surface cold, just to keep the heart beating. That was never a failure of character. It was an intelligent response from a system that was being asked to carry more than any system should have to carry alone. The dam was never the problem. The dam was what made it possible for you to keep standing. What do you think is waiting behind your own dam if you let yourself imagine it? Part 4. Still here underneath. Sometimes without warning, something gets through. A song you are not expecting to hear. A stranger's small kindness on an ordinary day. A memory that arrives uninvited and lands harder than it has any right to. And for a moment, you feel something so sharply it almost startles you. Because you had forgotten what it felt like to feel anything that clearly. That is not a setback. That is proof. Proof that everything you thought had disappeared has only been waiting, quietly, patiently, for a moment that felt safe enough to surface in. The wave that comes through can feel overwhelming precisely because it has been building for so long behind the wall. That intensity is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that the dam is doing exactly what dams eventually do. It is letting a little through. It will not come back all at once. It will not come back in order. It comes in waves, unpredictably, sometimes overwhelming and sometimes barely noticeable, on a schedule that has nothing to do with what would be convenient. Some days the feeling returns and some days the quiet comes back just as suddenly. That is not failure and it is not regression. That is simply how something long held finds its way back to the surface. When was the last time something got through? Even briefly. What was it? Part 5. You are not empty. The quiet was never coldness. It was never proof that you are someone incapable of depth, or someone who has lost the part of themselves that used to feel things fully. Emptiness, the kind you have been carrying, is not the absence of depth. It is what depth looks like when it has nowhere left to go. When everything that should have had room to move has instead been held very still, very carefully, for a very long time. Nothing you used to feel is gone. It is behind the dam, in the wave that surprised you, in the moments that get through despite everything. You do not need a plan to feel again. You do not need to force the wall down all at once. The feeling is not something you have to go looking for. It is already there, waiting for enough safety, enough space, enough time to come back on its own terms. I do not know how long you have felt this quiet, or what it was that filled the space behind your own dam. I do not know whether it was one thing or the slow accumulation of many small things that never had any are someone who felt so much for so long that feeling stopped being safe, and understanding that is not the same as fixing it, but it is the first honest thing that has been said about it in a long time. Closing. I have a version of this too. Moments where I notice the quiet and wonder how long it has been there. Feelings I know are somewhere behind my own wall, waiting for a moment I have not given them yet. I am not finished with this either, but I want to leave you with this. The quiet you have been carrying is not proof that something in you has gone. It is not coldness. It is not a missing part. You are not someone who lost the capacity to feel. You are someone who felt so much for so long without enough space to put any of it, that your system did the only thing it could. It held the feeling back until it was safe enough to return. That is not emptiness. That has never been emptiness. You are not empty. You never were. You don't have to explain the quiet. If you want, just leave one word below. Not for me, but as a sign for the person scrolling after you, who thinks something is wrong with them for not feeling anything at all.
There was a time I felt everything. A song could stay for days. A single moment could change the way the whole world looked to me.
Then life kept asking for a little more, until one day I noticed the volume wasn't there anymore.
I thought I had lost something
I never knew
I was protecting it. Maybe I'm not empty. Maybe I've just carried too much for too long. Maybe this silence isn't who I am. Maybe my heart just needed somewhere safe enough to keep beating. The people I loved were still the same.
The places hadn't changed,
But everything arrived a little quieter than before.
I smiled, I listened, I stayed, but somewhere inside
I was watching life
instead of feeling it.
I kept wondering where I had gone,
Never asking what had happened
to the road behind me. Maybe I'm not empty. Maybe I've just carried too much for too long.
keep beating.
Sometimes, without warning, something breaks through.
A voice, a memory,
Song, and suddenly I remember
what it feels like to feel, then it's gone again.
But now I know
It never left.
nothing disappeared, it only waited
Somewhere
behind the quiet
until the day
there was enough space
to come back again.